everyone, Reflected here, and today I have some great news to share. Owners of the Big Show campaign have already had the option to play 5 of the missions over the Channel map instead of Normandy, and now I'm releasing an additional one. Mission 7 recreates the event described in the chapter called Tussle in the Stratosphere. Let's play it, shall we? Here we are at Scramble. Here we are at Deadlink on a snowy day. And we gotta get airborne as soon as we can. Oh look, there are some mosquitoes. I just love that sound. Okay, let's start her up as quickly as we can. Set the brakes. Rudder trim 3/4 to the right. Elevator trim 1 division nose up. Fuel pump off. Radiator open. Filter on. Fuel cock on. Prop fully forward. Let's turn on the battery. Crank the throttle. Pressurize the fuel lines. Unscrew the primer. It's a cold day, so I'm going to give it 8 to 9. Yeah, it should be okay. Wait a minute.
All clear! Switch is on!
Starter and booster coil pressed. Mixture on. Release the starter. Engine catches. All good. Fuel pump on. Radio to channel B. Is that it? Yeah, channel B is that link. That's what we need. Set the altimeter. Field elevation is 600 feet, but you can check 1022, 1022, looking at the pressure here. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, now we're gonna warm up the engine, but it's a cold day, so it's gonna take a while. The oil pressure is really high, so I'm going to use oil dilution, and then we need an oil temperature of at least 15 degrees and at least 60 degrees of coolant temperature, so we're going to sit here for a while. Okay, temperatures are looking good now. Yeah, it would be cool if in DCS we had the option to like a cold start, but with a warmed up engine. That would be nice. Because in real life, if we are sitting at readiness and we could be scrambled at any time, we would not be sitting with our engine running, but we would not be sitting in a cold Spitfire either. So the ground crew would start the engine and warm it up periodically, so that when we really have to go, we don't have to sit 5 minutes on the ground. Oh well, there's time acceleration. Okay, let's quickly check the engine. Open to 0 boost. Stick back. Exercise the propeller. All good. Check the mags. All good. Good to go. Release the brakes. And we're rolling. It's good, we don't have to taxi all the way to the other end of the runway. Easy with the throttle, stick fully back. Just taxi nice and slow. Nobody's coming for a landing.
In field 1-1, request takeoff.
Let's turn onto the runway. We don't have any crosswind. It's good. Let's roll straight a little bit. And then stop. You stick fully back. Trim's all good. Okay, I'm going to open the throttle to 0 boost, release brakes, stick back, keep it straight. Slowly open the throttle to +2 and +4. Okay, tail coming up very gently. Open the throttle further. More. And we are airborne. Keep it down. Gear up. Let it accelerate. Open to +12 boost. Optimum flight speed, so you can raise the nose. Let's close the canopy. Retrim the aircraft.
Hello, Delman.
Power back.
Pando calling. Bandit approaching B for Baker and Angel Z for Zebra. Climbing flat out on vector 205. Out.
Vector 205. And we have to climb to Angels 40. So, optimum climb settings, 12 boost, 2850 RPM. Let's trim the aircraft again. Gun side on. Fuel pump, let's check if it's on. Radiator closed, filter off. We're good to go. 205. I'm going to climb at these settings and try to maintain 165 miles per hour. That's about the optimum climb speed of the Spitfire. If you are climbing any faster than that, we're not efficient enough. And if we are slower, then we're just pushing air. Look at this. Beautiful winter textures. So, once again, I've already released an alternate channel map version for 5 of the Big Show missions. So when I released the Big Show campaign 3 years ago, we only had the Normandy map. Gatling or Biggin Hill was not on the map, but yeah, that's all we got. So there were some compromises. But then the channel map was released, and it has both Biggin Hill and Gatling and many of the areas where these missions took place. So it made sense to rework the missions so that the player can fly it over the channel map too, where it made sense. For example, mission 2, historically it took place over like between Le Havre and Rouen, which is on the Normandy map but not on the channel map, so there would be no point in converting that one. Or the post D-Day missions. It's not here, not on this map. And originally I did not convert mission 7 either, this mission, because it took place way up north in the Orkneys. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So why would I redesign a mission just to replace one stand-in, like one compromise for another? But then the winter textures were released, and this is the only winter mission in the campaign, so I thought, yeah, I really want to see some snow here. So now I made an alternate channel map version. And when I say this, keep in mind that in a mission, in an existing mission, you cannot change the map. The map is the basis of the whole thing. So if you want to use a different map, then you have to rebuild the mission from scratch, and that is a lot of work. So it's not like I just replaced the map and kept everything else. It was quite a lot of work. Here we're climbing was still a bit too fast. Let's climb steeper. Boost is dropping as we're gaining altitude. Heading is need 205. Second gear of the supercharger, 12 boost, 2850 RPM, 180 miles an hour. It's a bit steeper. Check the ball, which is a needle in British aircraft, pretty much centered. Oh, good. We're passing 16,000 feet. It's still a lot more to climb.
Hello, Dumber, Red 1. Pando calling. Bandit now over B for Baker. Hurry up.
Hello, Pando. Dalmat answering. I'm climbing flat out. Angels R for Robert.
Bandit over B for Baker. That's right there. Dungeness, or is it Beachy Hat? I'm always confused. Like one of these is Dungeness and one of these is Beachy Hat. Oh well. This is where it is. It's like a single bandit, a high-flying single bandit. Okay, we made it to almost 30,000 feet, still climbing. I'm at full throttle and I'm only getting 6 or 7 boost. Pressure's dropping with altitude. Let's increase the RPM to 3,000. Get some more power because we really need to get up there. 40,000. Don't see anything. In the heat of the battle, I always forget to remove the safety, and then I'm surprised that my guns are silent. So I'm going to do this before we see the bandit. Thirty 1,000, 9,000 to go, but we're reaching the coastline now. Should be somewhere around here.
Hello, Pierre. Red 2 here. Smoke trail at 6 o'clock above.
6 o'clock above. Oh, there. Belly ho.
Tally-ho, Yan. Ready to attack?
Okay.
Gentle turn, gentle climbing turn. I have to be really easy on the stick here. Phil Style made a really nice video explaining why it's so hard to control the Spitfire in a sim. Even this long stick in real life, it was very sensitive, so you only had to move it maybe half an inch back and forth. And we're controlling this, well, I'm controlling this with a joystick that's 1/3 its size, so that exacerbates the problem. And we are at 33,000 feet, so the air is very thin. I only have to touch this stick and hold it like a millimeter, and there he is. The aircraft can enter stall. See, it already shudders. Super gentle on the stick. Just going after the wingman. After Yan. There he is. Looks like a 109. Messerschmitt with a white-ish camo, either a winter camo or a high altitude camo. Full power now. He's trying to climb. He's got better performance. quick burst. And throttle back to get some airspeed. You want to cook the engine. There he is. See, this is the problem. The AI usually goes up in a vertical climb. And if you try to follow, you cook the engine. And that's him. He's got the radiators wide open too. Well, we're getting it really fast here. Just trying to dive away. Spitfire is not a great diver. Throttle all the way back. Maybe he's out of control. Oh yeah, he hit the ground. Awesome.
Hello Pandore, Dalmat calling. Landing down. We're returning to base.
Hello, Dalmat. Pandore answering. Roger. Good show.
Safety back in. And we're clear to RTB. Look at that, the new water textures. I love them. They look so much more realistic. Also the waves, but I'm not sure how to say this in English, but it's not just a big piece of blue or gray or green or whatever, but you see different areas affected by the wind, different colors, patches. I think it's a big improvement. It's a tiny thing, but to me these kind of things matter a lot. Okay, let's power back. 6 boost and 2650 RPM, and let's head home. So we flew here on a heading of 205, so the reciprocal heading is 35, yeah, should be it. No, wait, 25. So let's take a heading of 025. And go back to Deathlink. So again, you can still play the campaign using the Normandy map only, like it was advertised. But if you do have the channel map, I really recommend you use these alternate versions, because I think the channel map looks way better than Normandy. Colors are so much more realistic. You can't see that now because it's all covered in snow, but I find the Normandy map just be too bright, an unrealistic shade of green, and also it's got those cookie cutter textures, ground textures in many places, whereas the channel map is like really realistic. Towns and cities and roads and everything, map objects. I just love it. Great job, ED. As we're flying home, maybe just a few more words about these mission variants. I get a lot of requests on the forums, like, why don't I make an easy version or an air start version or save game feature version, or a version that uses a slightly different aircraft. I mean, these changes, yes, they are not big changes and could be easy, but let me give you an example why my answer is a definite no. About half a year ago, there was a new World War II AI feature introduced, which gave the AI the ability to evaluate the tactical situation and decide whether it wants to attack or run away, like Brave Sir Robin. And basically all my missions were screwed, because I programmed, say, 36 aircraft.
Hello, Pandor. Bob calling. Airborne with 4 Spitfires. Do you have
That's
anything
another
for
flight
us?
somewhere.
Hello, Bob Leader. Pandor answering. Nothing to report at this time. Carry on as briefed.
let's go.
Note.
Okay, where was I? So yeah, I programmed 36 aircraft to turn and attack another 20 fog walls, let's say. And after this update, I've seen YouTube videos, playthrough videos, where 4 of these 36 aircraft turned and attacked, and the remaining 32 just turned away and ran away, even though they were programmed to turn and attack. They were given specific orders to attack. But no, now the AI can reevaluate the situation, and they said, sorry, screw this, not feeling like fighting. So that's basically a mission maker's worst nightmare. You set up a mission, script everything so that it happens as it should or as it happened in real life, and then the AI has the final word. I mean, I understand it's a good feature for dynamic missions, but I think when it was introduced, it was a disaster for me. And finally, with this latest update, we got an option to override this behavior. So when you add this little task or little extra waypoint task to the AI flight, then they're not going to think anymore, and they're just going to follow your orders. So whatever you set up in the mission editor, which is great. But I had to open each and every World War II mission, select each and every group or flight, and set up this extra override task. Let's say on average in a mission there are like, let's say 10 flights. Sometimes there's a lot more, sometimes less. On average, let's say 10 flights. So you open a mission, and 10 times you have to click and set up this extra task. But in a campaign, you have this one, you have 12 missions. So that's 120 tasks to set up. But wait, we have 6 channel map versions of the missions. So that's 60 more. And we also have 2 co-op versions, so multiplayer mission versions of this campaign. And that's again 20 more flights to select. In the meantime, I'm getting closer and I have no idea where Gatling is. So instead of having to set up there, instead of having to set up 120 tasks, I had to set up twice that number. And it was a really small change, but it's really time consuming as well. And that's just one campaign. I have, I think I have 5 World War II campaigns already released. So I had to set up this task at least 1,000 times, I'm pretty sure. So that's what I mean. When you have alternate versions, keeping the missions up to date becomes a nightmare. Because even the most minute change can take days and weeks to set up in all the missions, like every mission. And I take pride in keeping my missions up to date and working 100% after each update, because DCS is constantly changing. It's not like building a house on a rock, it's building a house on a swamp. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but it's constantly changing. So if a mission works now, maybe after the next update it may not, because something will change. Anything, the smallest thing can have a butterfly effect and completely ruin the mission. And maybe not in a bad way, because DCS is constantly evolving and progressing. I just have to make sure that the mission is compatible with the latest version. And that's a lot more difficult task than many of you would think. So that's why I'm saying no to alternate versions as much as possible. Filter on. Let's make a low pass. 2850 RPM. course, a victory roll. Slow and easy. Good, throttle back. We are at 1,000 feet AGL up on the canopy. Open the radiators. Let the speed drop. 160, gear down. And 40 flaps down. Nose going down, so I'm trimming it tail heavy. Oh yeah, sorry. Wingman, navigation, return to base. Otherwise, it's gonna try and stay in formation. Prop pitch fully forward. We're a beam. Start a long turn on final. In World War II, Spitfires, and I think many other aircraft, they did not fly rectangular patterns, but they use this kind of approach so that they can always keep an eye on the runway, the landing point. Otherwise the nose would obstruct the view. Oh, look at that, somebody's taking off. Okay. Flaps up, gear up, power on. Bastards. Should have seen me coming. Okay, climb back to 1,000 AGL. Taking off, you're airborne, so gear down, the speed drop, turning backwards, left down, full RPM, trim the nose up, keep the speed around 120-ish, because we want about 100 or 90 over the threshold. Wide turn on final. A bit high, so I'm reducing power. I'm dropping the nose to keep the speed up. The runway is clear. Flatten out, got the throttle. Oh, that was not good. Flaps up to stabilize the aircraft. Keep it straight through the rudder. Yeah, flared way too high. Now I can apply some brake pressure. And let's taxi back. Fuel pump off. There's my wingman. Let's taxi using S-turns. Yeah, otherwise I would have run that guy over. We can't see directly ahead. Stick fully back. Keep the aircraft from nosing over. Better look ahead though. Let's go onto the taxiway. I think that was our parking spot. See, I'm texting really slow, like below 1000 RPM. When I turn, I apply some power, but otherwise, the slower the better. You have more control. We're not hitting those guys either. Stick forward back. Okay, good. Let's turn off the radio. What else? We've already turned off the fuel pump. Let's open the throttle, stick back. Clean the spark plugs and make sure cut off. Open the throttle. A little bit of backfire. And as soon as the prop stops, we turn off the mags, release the brakes, turn off the fuel cock, and the battery. And that's it. Let's go to interrogation and report one enemy aircraft destroyed. Give it a go and see how you fare against that high-flying 109. Thanks to a great suggestion on the forums, I added an alternate campaign file, so 2 versions will show up in your menu. One that only uses the Normandy map, and another one that uses the channel versions where available. Let me know in the comments how it went, and don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned, see ya!